Hi, John. Thanks for coming in today.
Hi, it's good to see you. Thank you.
I would like to go over some results today. We did a couple assessments last time you were in visiting me.
Yes, I remember doing a few of those, yeah.
I will list off the assessments that we did together. We did the Beck, excuse me. Um, we did a couple of them. Let's see here. The Beck Depression Inventory.
Okay, yes, now I remember that one.
Okay. And we also did the Beck Hopelessness Scale.
Yes, I remember that one
Okay.
too, yeah.
And the Beck Scale for Suicide Ideation.
Okay.
Okay. And then we also did the Beck Anxiety Inventory.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay. And now, the results that I'm seeing here, I would like to review with you a little more. I will pull these up for you. I'd like you to just look at the scale here. There is an awful lot of symptoms relating to suicide ideation. I know that you expressed to me that you have felt suicide, you felt of harming yourself
Yes.
in the future. And I feel like we need to kind of maybe figure out what you're truly feeling, as some of these results, you did say that you felt suicide and harming yourself, and other results we did have that you would not harm yourself for future circumstances.
Okay. Which ones would you like to talk about first?
I would like to talk about the Beck Depression Inventory.
Okay.
You did mention that you were thinking about suicide. Now, has any of these feelings seemed to disseminate, diminish at all, or are you still feeling like this today?
I had I had thoughts of suicide, and then as I continued to talk to you and we were, going over some things, there's other times where I felt value and that suicide maybe wasn't an option. But I really strove, for the longest time I felt strongly about suicide. It's my only way. It's my only way out.
Okay. So, you feel like suicide is your only way out presently? Or is that...
It comes and goes, but there's more present than not present. A lot of bad days make me feel like that's my solution.
Okay. And if you had the opportunity to harm yourself, would you take that opportunity?
I've thought about it many times, and suicide to me is serious, and I think about it all the time. But when I self-harm, I don't do it to the point of where, I cut myself deep enough. If I cut myself, it's cutting. It's not to where I'm going to die. So there's a lot of things that I feel that I do with the anticipation of committing suicide, but I don't follow through all the way. But sometimes I still feel that that's my only solution.
Okay. Now, on the Beck Depression Inventory assessment that we did together, I see that maybe you're confused on some of the levels that you described as depression, hopelessness, and possible anxiety.
Yes.
Okay. I understand that you probably were feeling a little bit anxious during your test, your assessment. I feel like maybe if we did some coping mechanisms, maybe we can lower the anxiety to the point where maybe you can redo this assessment to where you feel confident with your answers, and maybe your level of hopelessness and overall depression maybe diminishes with your ability to cope well.
I agree. I feel like sometimes when I come in with a different state of mind, or I take the test, or different parts of the test, when I feel hopeful, there's certain times that I answer the questions, and sometimes they appear to contradict themselves. And strongly, I've been suicidal, but there's times when I'm focused and I say, it's not the only option, and the test has really helped me kind of decrease anxiety while I'm reading it to understand there's other methods. But sometimes I get confused in my thoughts.
Okay. As we continue to talk, I feel like maybe you're understanding a little bit more about the results, and maybe we can continue on. I'll show you some other results here that I have. You also did the Beck suicide assessment and the scale for suicide. Now, on this particular assessment, you showed a moderate to strong wish to live. And that you have no desire to harm yourself or kill yourself. Now, is this still true today?
I want to say yes, it is. I mean, some of the assessment I did beforehand, I have very suicidal thoughts, but going through the assessment gives me hope that maybe I'm not as suicidal as I thought, or maybe it's not to the point where I need to end my life. Because there's a lot of things on there that made me think about who I am, who I want to be, and who loves me. And so that really made me think, I don't want to necessarily die today.
Well, I'm glad that you feel that way, and your life is of value. Excuse me. Now, after the the Beck suicide scale, we also went to the hopeless scale, the Beck hopeless scale.
Yep, I remember that one.
Now, you were pessimistic about maybe your life you would not be able to see what your life would be like in 10 years. That your future will also be dark. Now, I'm assuming that you're still feeling the same way about the other assessments and how they may be confusing to you, and you do feel like your life is of value, but you do have some times where
it is hard for me, especially in the last assessment. I feel hope, but being optimistic is very limited compared to my pessimistic. So even with hope, I'll have days where we have the glasses half empty instead of half full. Even although I have hope, and I know I have hope, sometimes I still feel myself being pessimistic. But through the other assessments, make me realize that I have other skills to push me forward, to be hopeful and make, better decisions regarding my mental health.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you came in today and you did these assessment tools with me, and I know how they did get a little bit confusing and your anxiety was up a little bit. So we will continue to see each other and find some better coping mechanisms for you to utilize that maybe you won't have this confusion, or we can diminish some of the symptoms that you have of having when you have those days where you feel like the glass is half full, and we can use those to make your glass full again.
Yeah, I have to say, you explained me the results to these assessments and these, what we've talked about has really helped, because each one is a little different in its own way, but each one has given me a different outlook onto my suicidal thoughts, and the way you've explained the results of each of them has given me different outlooks and different avenues to go. So I want to thank you for explaining those, to help me understand. And now I can move forward with where I need to go.
Right. Well, I appreciate you coming in and sitting through the results, and possibly looking for a brighter future down the path.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.